Hello, and welcome to the Muddy Oak Supply Co. YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 5 top-rated folding pocket knives at Harbor Freight for summer of 2026. So let's get right into it with number 5. First, we have the Gordon Skeleton folding pocket knife. This guy has the skeletal frame, much like the Gerber Paraframe. It is a clip point blade, right? We do have a handle length coming in at about 4.1 inches with a blade length of about 3 inches and an overall length coming in at about 7.1 inches. This knife is roughly 3 ounces, so it's pretty standard weight for a folding pocket knife. And I mean, being Harbor Freight, this guy's really cheap, coming in at only $8 currently, right? It is July of 2026. So this blade does have a stainless steel. Specifically, it's a 3CR13 stainless steel. We do have dual thumb studs on this knife with a nice flipper built into it. The flipper doesn't work super well out of the box, right? It doesn't really fully open. But when you use the thumb studs, you can get it open just fine. So overall, pretty standard folding pocket knife, nice $8, sub $10 knife from Harbor Freight. The pocket clip on this is incredibly strong. You can see it's extra thick, right? So it's a nice sturdy pocket clip on this blade. Might be a little too tough, honestly, right? It's a, really sturdy pocket clip. Next, I'm gonna get some 1/2-inch rope and see how this thing cuts just out of the box. So let's get some of that rope ready right here. And we will take the Gordon 3-inch skeleton folding pocket knife from Harbor Freight, and we'll see how this thing cuts just out of the box. Okay, yeah, cuts just fine. Gets through that rope without too much trouble. There you go. Yeah, the Gordon, right? Just gets right through that 1/2-inch rope. No problem at all. I'm actually going to pull out some of the full 1-inch rope because that went through a little easy, right? So let's get the 1-inch rope out here, twice as thick, and let's see how this Gordon skeleton knife kind of works against this full 1-inch rope. Okay, yeah, much more difficult to get through this. This is where it really kind of shows if a knife is extra sharp out of the box. All right, it got through it. So it kind of struggled on the 1-inch rope there, had to give it quite a bit of force, but for an $8 knife, you really can't complain that much, right? Cut right through the 1/2-inch with no trouble at all. So this is the Gordon 3-inch skeleton frame lock knife from Harbor Freight. Nice little folding pocket knife. Coming in at the number 5 slot at Harbor Freight for the top-rated folding pocket knives of summer of 2026. So the Gordon skeleton folding knife at number 5. So let's put this guy away for now and move on to number 4. So the 4th top-rated folding pocket knife at Harbor Freight for summer of 2026 is the key-shaped folding pocket knife. So this guy is not a traditional folding pocket knife, right? It does look like a key. It's very small. We're coming in at about 2 inches in total. Right, so it's just a really kind of a micro disguised folding pocket knife. And this knife is almost free coming from Harbor Freight, right? It's $2.29 currently, so incredibly cheap, tiny little knife. It does have just says steel. Doesn't say what kind of steel, but it has a little steel blade in here that's coming in at about 1 5/8 of an inch. This knife is incredibly lightweight, so we're coming in at a little less than 1 ounce. So really lightweight, really small. The handle material here is a copperized steel. We do have a overall length coming in at about 3.5 inches. There's not much else to kind of talk about here, right? It's just your standard manual opener. There's no, opening mechanism or anything like that. But I am interested to see how this little knife cuts. So let's get the 1/2-inch rope out. And let's see how this little key knife cuts through some rope. Okay, it actually got through it pretty reasonably for something so cheap and tiny, right? Yeah, I mean, perfectly sharp out of the box. I'm actually surprised at how well this did. I'm not going to bother with the 1-inch rope. It would just be ridiculous trying to cut through that with this tiny little blade. But yeah, for something that's like $2.29, this is incredibly sharp. Really compact, small. It could just fit right on your keychain, right? You wouldn't even notice that. Kind of, blends in. And, for less than $3, this is kind of a no-brainer. Pretty cool little knife from Harbor Freight, coming in at the number 4 slot for the top-rated knives. The key-shaped folding pocket knife. So So let's get this guy out of the way for now and move on to number 3, right? So the third top rated knife at Harbor Freight is the Gordon 2.9-inch drop point folding pocket knife. This knife is much heavier than the key shaped knife. I think it's coming in at a little less than 4 ounces, but it's incredibly noticeable, you know, when you're holding this tiny little thing here that's less than 1 ounce. So we have the Gordon 2.9-inch drop point blade. Let's pop this guy open and see how it looks. Shoots right open. I mean, that is incredibly smooth. We do have a ball bearing pivot in this knife with a wonderful flipper that works excellently. Shoots right open. We do have dual thumb studs as well. I always love to see that, the dual thumb studs going with the flipper. Really nice. This knife does come with a liner lock in here. I will note that the liner lock is pretty rough, right? So it's not the nicest thing to kind of manipulate, right? It does kind of pinch your thumb a bit, but yeah, just your standard liner lock. The open on this is incredibly smooth. We do have a composite material for the handle here, so that's pretty nice. The pocket clip, really sturdy, really strong. Yeah, I can barely get that up there, so really strong pocket clip. Love to see that. We do have a handle length coming in at about 4.2 inches. We have a blade length, obviously, at 2.9 inches, and an overall length coming in at roughly 7 inches. We do have a stainless steel on this blade here. It is specifically an 8CR13 MOV stainless steel, and we have the nice drop point blade, right? So overall, first impressions, really nice knife. It is only $10 at Harbor Freight. So this Gordon knife, only $10, and it opens incredibly smooth. So let's see how it cuts against the 1/2-inch rope first. And if it cruises through this just fine, we'll move on to the 1-inch. But let's see how this $10 Gordon knife at the number 3 slot kind of works against this 1/2-inch rope here. Okay, not very sharp at all. Yeah, not the sharpest. Let's do that one more time and see if this thing can get through it. All right, got through it that time. Third time's a charm here. Let's see. All right, so that was probably me on the first one there. Plenty sharp, gets right through the 1/2-inch rope without any trouble at all. Let's move into the 1-inch full-size rope here and see how the Gordon 2.9-inch drop point kind of works against this. Yeah, it's not the easiest to get through this rope. Still not through it. There you go. All right, so it does get through the 1-inch, not the smoothest cut that I've seen on a folding pocket knife, but you can't ask for too much on a $10 knife, right? Coming out of Harbor Freight. So yeah, the Gordon 2.9-inch folding pocket knife from Harbor Freight coming in at about $10 at the number 3 top rated spot for summer of 2026. Nice little folding pocket knife, opens incredibly smooth. Yeah, so let's get this guy out of the way here and move on to the next knife, which is the number 2 slot. So coming up at the number 2 slot from Harbor Freight is the Doyle Hawkbill folding pocket knife. So this guy is much like the Milwaukee kind of Hawkbill knife that I've reviewed previously on this channel. We do have a nice little button release here, so you have to press that to get it open. Just flip it open there, and you have the excellent Hawkbill style blade on this knife. It does come with a liner lock here, which feels fine, just your standard liner lock, nothing special. This blade is coming to us with a handle length of about 4.5 inches, a blade length coming in at about 2.79 inches, and an overall length at roughly 7 inches. This blade does come in at about 5 ounces, a little over 5 ounces, so it is on the heavier side for a folding pocket knife. We do have a pocket clip here. It's pretty loose, actually, compared to the other knives on this list, so keep that in mind if that's something you care about. But, you know, the most important thing here, this knife is coming in at about $14. So for Harbor Freight, this is on the more expensive side. $14 knife. It does come with a stainless steel blade. It doesn't say what kind of stainless steel, just stainless steel. But one thing I noticed about the Milwaukee Hawkbill knife is that it was incredibly sharp out of the box. So I'm interested to see how this knife cuts from Harbor Freight against the 1/2-inch rope first. So let's find some 1/2-inch rope. There we go. Got the 1/2-inch. And let's see how this Harbor Freight Hawkbill kind of cuts against this 1/2-inch rope. Okay, not anywhere remotely close to as sharp as the Milwaukee Hawkbill knife. Yeah, I kind of had to slide it across the blade there, so not the sharpest out of the box. Not super impressed by that. let's see how it works against the 1-inch rope here. Okay, yeah, it got through it. Took quite a bit of force and a lot of like working it back and forth. So, not the sharpest thing out of the box, but you know, it is highly rated at Harbor Freight. So, this is coming in at the number 2 slot currently for summer of 2026. It is the Doyle Hawkbill folding pocket knife. Cool blade style if you're into the Hawkbill format. So, pretty neat. Let's fold this guy up and stick it aside for now and move on to the number 1 top rated folding pocket knife from Harbor Freight for summer of 2026. We have the Icon drop point folding blade with a ceramic bearing. So let's pop this guy open. Wow, yeah, that's really nice. Really nice on the open there. This Icon drop point blade. We do have a handle length coming in at about 4.42 inches, a blade length of about 3.07 inches, and an overall length at roughly 7.5 inches. This blade is coming in at 4.3 ounces, so it's slightly on the heavier side for a folding pocket knife, but not too crazy. We do have a pocket clip here. It is very sturdy, really nice pocket clip. This knife does come with a liner lock. The liner lock is not too bad to press here, right? Doesn't bother you too much. It's pretty easy to manipulate. And there's no thumb stud on this knife, right? So no thumb stud, just a flipper. But the flipper is all you really need. This thing shoots right open, no trouble at all. And like I mentioned earlier, it does have ceramic bearings in here, which kind of make that such a smooth open. It does come with a drop point blade, so you can see that right there. It is a D2 steel for this blade, so nice and sturdy material. And overall, you know, it looks like a pretty cool blade, and it should look pretty cool because this one is $40 at Harbor Freight. So it's the top rated knife at Harbor Freight currently, but it is also one of the more expensive knives. So 40 bucks for a Harbor Freight knife is kind of ridiculous considering you can get that that key knife for about, you know, what, $230, $229 right now. So, or you can get the Gordon 2.9 inch for $10. You can get 4 of these for 1 of these. So is it that much better? It's hard to tell. But it is the top rated knife right now at Harbor Freight. So let's see how this thing cuts, because I mean that's what knives do, right? So let's get some 1/2-inch rope and see how this thing cuts out of the box here. Right through it, just like butter. I mean, just straight through that rope without any trouble at all. Yeah, no, really sharp out of the box. So I'd love to see that for $40, right? It'd be kind of annoying if it wasn't incredibly sharp. But let's get the full 1-inch rope here and see how the Icon drop point blade kind of works against this 1-inch rope. Oh, it just doesn't want to move. I think I'm getting hung up right there. So let's try and change the blade position a little bit. Slips right through it. Oh, almost there. All right, there it goes. So I think that was mostly me getting stuck in that little divot there. But overall, this knife is incredibly sharp out of the box. So perfectly fine there. Cuts right through the rope, no problem at all. It is a $40 knife, but it is also the top rated knife at Harbor Freight. So check it out. It's the Icon drop point blade folding pocket knife with the ceramic bearings. Opens incredibly smooth. Really nice pocket knife just out of the box. So to recap, the top 5 rated folding pocket knives at Harbor Freight for summer of 2026, we have the Gordon 3-inch skeleton blade coming in at number 5. We have the key-shaped folding pocket knife coming in at number 4. We have the Gordon 2.9-inch drop point blade coming in at number 3. We have the Doyle Hawkbill folding pocket knife coming in at number 2. And we have the Icon drop point blade with ceramic bearings coming in at the number 1 slot for the top rated knives at Harbor Freight, summer 2026. There they are. Really nice, blades, good deals. Harbor Freight's always got the cheap knives. So if you're looking for something just real dirt cheap, be sure to check out Harbor Freight. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day.